talk about the lessons in the lives of you and me. This could be the last place I should be. So it flows.
All right, that was No One's Son, Lyra, and we just talked about it. So, like we said before, Jamie, this is an awesome tune that you and Nick put together, and it from the first album to the EP to now, it really does kind of follow the pattern you've been working on, even though the EP was kind of a more of a group effort as far as songwriting goes. But a song in particular, it just you can like B said, you can tell like the heart and like this like immense depth to it.
Thank you. Yeah, so, we worked hard on that. It was a labour of love. Again, with the visuals with it as well, that was something we spent a lot of time on. The cover and everything. There's loads of symbolism in that and in the video, and loads of it.
And I like the repetitious guitar, and I like the way it's really gentle, and I feel like the whole song kind of hangs from that. And that's what makes it... I mean, I can actually see couples adopting that as their kind of... I don't know if people slow dance anymore as much, but you know what I mean? It's really that... Well, I think it's really moving. I find it that moving, so...
That's nice. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel happy. It's made my day.
Oh, slow dance like a high school dance where you're standing about 3 feet apart from each other, or what?
You're just hanging on each other.
Yeah, exactly. you're hanging on for balance as opposed to closeness.
You were saying about the imagery, because I watched the video a few times, and you can see it's got sort of black and white movies, hasn't it, and things like that going on in the background.
Yeah.
That's quite poignant, but it's definitely something. I think once you've heard it a couple of times, you feel it's one you've heard before. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but you know what I mean. It seems to sort of stick.
We've had that a few times with a few of our songs, which is kind of like nice. People feel like they know it already when they hear it for the first time. That's kind of a sign you're doing something right, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very cool. I was going to ask you actually about the V for Vulcan festival.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're playing on Saturday, is that right?
We were. We've had to cancel because Nick had to go into hospital yesterday unexpectedly, which is why I'm here on my lonesome. So he's a little bit poorly at the minute. So love to Nick, if you're listening.
Love to Nick and wishing him a speedy recovery. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next thing, and I sent this to B, and I'm not sure if you. We'll start off with a folk, pretty much a folk legend in Canada. Her name's Joni Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
And she
quite ill, isn't she?
Well, she's getting better because she went into a coma, but now the doctors are saying that she's starting to respond.
Cool.
Which is a really good thing because Joni Mitchell has done so much, and it's just one of those things that, I mean, a lot of people start talking about like a lot of musicians, like Canadian musicians, and just people in general. Because even if didn't know a lot of her music, I mean, it's still, it means a lot because she kind of pioneered a lot for Canada as far as like folk music goes, and it was a shock. I mean, I know at this point in time, a lot of our favorite and greats are getting up there in years, and it happens. It just sad to hear it happen, especially something like this. Now she went from really sick and then went in the hospital and then went into a coma, and then now that she's responding to things is a good thing. But again, with her, I wish her a speedy recovery because she has done so much, and one of my favorite songs by her is called "Fiddle and the Drum."
I think the thing with her music is it carries on down the generations, doesn't it? And as soon as her song would come on the radio, people would know it. The Big Yellow Taxi, you'd know it. So that's something, isn't it? If that just carries on and your kids end up knowing it, and everything else is fantastic.
And that's probably my favourite song by her, Big Yellow Taxi. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Great painter as well, isn't she? Really good painter.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, she's artistic in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I think what came to my mind, which was quite sad, because it's a long-term friend that has sort of filed to be her guardian and everything. But what was sad was there's no kind of immediate family to take care of her and things like that. And you sort of think, I don't know, it just made me, when I was reading the articles, sort of think about that, how important it is, isn't it, to have close friends and family and nurture that, really.
Exactly. I mean, it's got to be that part of it's got to be difficult. So so that's going on. And the other thing I want to talk about is Paul McCartney just recently performed in Japan, and he performed a song that the Beatles never played together live or solo called "Another Girl." And the last time they played out together in Japan was in 1966.
I know, that's amazing, isn't it?
So he's played in Japan a few times since. He was there in 2009, 2011, and it's the first time since then he's been back. And he said, "I know, just a great response." So he played obviously a couple other hits. So he played, "I Know I Want to Hold Your Hand," and a couple other ones. And but this song, it was kind of interesting that he picked it to play, and after all these years, it's finally being performed live. And I thought it was kind of interesting that he like I said, he specifically picked this song to play, and it went over really well because as we know, back in '66, the last time they played, that was kind of the turn. Oh, not too much later after that was the turn with good old Yoko, who ratted him out for having pot on him.
That's great, isn't it?
So
it must have been amazing being in the audience, though, for him to do that. Really, it must have been a real, buzz.
Oh, he said the audience was just wild, and it was just they really, really enjoyed it. It was a huge response. He was very happy with the crowd in general.
Must have been quite a big decision to make as well, I would have thought.
Pardon?
I said it must have been quite a big decision to make to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I just that's especially like just the fact that this tune has never been played live. I mean, it didn't go into too much detail how he picked it. He just said it was a great time and said this year's been very busy for him because he's been writing a lot of new songs, and he inducted Ringo into the Hall of Fame. And I just as much as he says, I mean this is obviously because Ringo was his bandmate, but he said with Ringo behind you, he never had any issues. And I mean, I'm not a drummer personally, and Ringo is a decent drummer, but I wouldn't call him the greatest drummer in the world. But no, he did his justice for the Beatles. And there's a while ago, and these pictures have been online. You can find them. There was a picture from a press conference, like it was like maybe 67, 68, and Paul and John are answering questions. And they said that one of the questions was, is Ringo the best drummer in the world? To which John replied, he goes, he's only the best drummer in the band. so that always cracks me up. Like I said, I respect him because he is talented. And like I said, I'm not a drummer, so I can't really speak to high or low because I don't know too much about it. So I don't want to say like, oh, he's the worst person in the world, blah, 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 because like I really don't know. I've got other drummers to compare him to, but I'm not playing the instrument myself. I can't really do it justice and be completely fair by saying, he's good, but he could do better.
He's someone to Thomas Tank Engines either, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, well that's.
I'm just thinking, you won't know this, I don't think, but do you remember the Smith and Jones sketch with George Martin? They asked me how I get the Beatles sound. I don't know if I can do this on the radio, but he said, "This is a cymbal played forwards. This is a cymbal backwards. Okay, way Ringo."
But to his credit, he does make it look easy. If you see, when you're watching a lot of the old video footage and that sort of thing, especially on the Sullivan Show, he's just having a good time, kind of so happy and enjoying himself. But again, like he just makes it look very easy, like he's putting no effort into it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to criticize.
Yeah, very true. That's why I'm done. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I love the Beatles and I really don't have bad things to say about them at all. So.
Do you know what though? If you had a different drummer, because Ringo is very, very unique. You can interpret unique however you want to. It adds to the sound. It would be wrong if there was anything else in there played in a different way. It just wouldn't work. It just kind of adds that whole feeling to it.
No, I totally agree. Because if you think about it, what if they didn't have Ringo and the drummer they had played, we'll say, kind of like Buddy Rich? That would not fit at all.
It wouldn't have been what it is, would it?
All right. So yeah, that's the two top things that have caught my attention the past little bit. There's other things, but I don't think personally in my mind are really like worthy of really talking about or wasting too much time on. So
I was just going to ask you. Grasscutter mentioned he's just done a tweet and he said, "I'm sure a current artist covered Big Yellow Taxi in the last few years. Do you know if they did? Can you think of anyone? Joni Mitchell's song."
There was a version. God, it must be early 90s somebody did it. I can't remember who it was. The female singer, and she had kind of a big animated...
What was that?
What's what? What?
It was your action at that minute. I don't know, I misinterpreted it.
I'm wiggling my hand around because I'm trying to think. I've got a thinking hand. This is my thinking hand. You've got a bad mind.
No, I haven't.
Oh, of course not. What about your poem? Need we say more?
And what was that? Any more?
I said, what about your poem that we just played at the beginning of the show? Need we say more?
No, that's me. I'm sort of playing around with SoundCloud, so I'm just trying. I'm just trying to kind of play with my poetry. So that's me being brave, going on SoundCloud now. You see. That was me. That was the first one I've done, which is a little bit sort of naughty.
Your poetry is very good.
Oh,
I've a few times.
Oh, fantastic!
Go and check it out to people of Earth.
It's quite hard. Last time you were on, you lot were messing around so much. Doing it live was just impossible, and I couldn't take. I thought I can't do this.
See, I've got no friends to be naughty with.
I don't know.